Money is not free. It doesn't just come. You have to work for it. You got to be smart with it so that you can continue to live a very comfortable, happy life. We do not get enough teaching and instruction on how to be smart with your money, how to be financially independent so that we are better prepared when that rainy day comes. There's a fine balance. You got to find that balance. You got to figure out, what can I afford? What can I not? Is there alternatives that would make me happy anyways? Is this something that, I can get today, or maybe it's something I can work for and I can get, 6 months, a year, 2 years from now? Because it is very, very tough to get yourself out of the hole when, things go awry and you are spending more than you're actually bringing in. Hi everyone, welcome back to my Mommy's Life channel where I share with you guys my journey as a first-time mom, dentist, and business owner. If you guys are new to this channel, a very big welcome. Today is a really, really important video because I want to share with you guys a life skill that we simply do not get enough of growing up. In school, we learn a lot about math, we get our science, and we know about our history, but we do not get enough teaching and instruction on how to be smart with your money, how to be financially independent so that we are better prepared when that rainy day comes. And this pandemic and everything has really even reinforced how important it is to have that plan, to have that backup, because stuff like this is going to happen. It's going to happen more than once in your lifetime. And it's one of those things that unless your parents, taught it to you while you were little and reinforced it, many of us do not understand that. And we don't prepare for those bad days to come. And, then we're scrambling and we're stressed, and it's very, very tough during those times. So I want to take today's video to share with you guys 3 things, if you guys aren't doing in your life already, you guys need to start, you guys need to continue to do so, be disciplined to do it, so that you're positioned in a better way when those rainy days come. And just a shout out, mom and dad, if you're watching this, thank you so much for teaching this to me when I was a kid. It's one of the best life skills that I got. At the time, it was very annoying. I don't know how many times I wanted something in the store and my parents would be like, no, or, you can only have one. When I got older, they would tell me to go get a summer job so that I could buy that toy or that thing that I wanted. And at the time, it seemed very unfair. I hated it. But now I'm really grateful that I got that skill from them, because money is not free. It doesn't just come. You have to work for it. You got to be smart with it so that you can continue to live a very comfortable, happy life. So here we go. Grab a seat. Let's sit down. Let's talk about this. So the number one thing that you have to do is start saving. Put aside a reserve fund. Usually we would recommend having 4 to 6 months of reserves, and that is money that you put in a savings account where you don't even look at it, you don't touch it. If you don't have money elsewhere to get that new motorcycle or whatever it is, then you just don't have it. Okay, so you got to set aside 4 to 6 months. How do you do it? I know it's very challenging, and I think it just takes that bit of discipline. You got to budget yourself. Ideally, you're putting away 20% of your paycheck, every paycheck, towards this until you get to that 4 to 6 months. But, if your budget does not allow for that, it's okay. You can put, 5%. You can put away, $20, whatever it is. Put something away where you're like, you know what, I'm going to not go out for dinner that night. I'm not going to go get coffee in the morning. You'll find that $5 to $20 a month that you can put away, and you'll be very grateful that you did. And that's where the reserve fund starts. It starts with your paychecks. You got to just put it aside, pretend like you don't have it, And that's what I did with my very first paycheck after I graduated from dental school. It was like amazing. I got my first, real paycheck. I'm not a student anymore. And I immediately took 20% of that. I had student loans still, I had rent to pay, obviously food and stuff like that, but I still figured out a way to put away that 20%. How I did it is while my friends were going on vacations, while some of my friends were buying designer shoes and purses, I did not. I put away that 20% in my savings account. And it took me a while to get that 4 to 6 months of savings that I needed, but I got there eventually. And with that money, where do you put it? You can put it in a savings account, you can put it under your bed. What I find is a very easy and amazing way to do it is look for a high interest savings account. I use Ally personally. They've been great. So while most savings account, really you get like 0 interest for, with my Ally, I've been able to get close to 2% of interest just by having my money sit there. So, that's a great way to kind of get a little extra spending money built up in interest while still being able to access that money quickly if something were to happen. We had this happen just actually a month or two before the pandemic happened. Our roof was leaking. We needed a brand new roof. We also had a pipe in our house that was leaking. And so we had to tap into that savings account, and we're really grateful that we had that. So make sure that you are pulling money aside, whatever it takes, find a way to pull a little bit of money every month and put it in the savings account. Okay. The number 2 thing is never, never, never live beyond your means. So what does that mean? Like, if you don't have the cash to pay off your credit card, don't just keep racking up credit card debt. Credit card debt is so dangerous. It's so hard to get out of. I don't know how many times I've heard of people, they're just constantly rolling in credit card debt, and it's a lot of interest that, they charge you to keep that there. Not to mention it's not great for your credit as well. So make sure that you're able to pay off your credit card in full every month. If you're already having some debt, it's gonna take you some time to get there. But again, same rule as applies from number 1. Take a little bit of money, whether it be you don't go out to eat for lunch that day, pack a lunch, don't buy that new pair of shoes, whatever it is, just so you can start chipping away at that credit card, because those credit cards can get really, really dangerous. It's very hard to get out of once you start having the debt there. So that's the number 1 thing. I never live above my means. I could probably go buy a boat if I wanted to, but if that is not allotted for in my, budget, in my cash flow, and I mean just regular expenses, I just don't do it. Just don't, because when you live above your means, that's when it gets really hard to be able to fund that, to continue to pay that when times get tough. If you lose that job or, something were to happen and you just don't have that income anymore, it's very difficult. So just be very careful, never live above your means, and you'll be in good shape. And I don't mean to say that, just don't live a life. I'm not saying just don't go do anything, live in a shack and, do all the things that, might make you even more upset. Like, there's a fine balance. You got to find that balance. You got to figure out, what can I afford? What can I not? Is there alternatives that would make me happy anyways? Is this something that, I can get today, or maybe it's something I can work for and I can get, 6 months, a year, 2 years from now? Because it is very, very tough to get yourself out of the hole when, things go awry and you are spending more than you're actually bringing in. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is plan for the future. There's not enough of us who actually looks forward to the future. Not enough of us are planning for retirement. It's going to hit us all at some point, and don't rely on Social Security. I think a lot of us are thinking, oh, I'll just ride the Social Security wave. Don't. It's not enough to sustain your normal living standards. So you got to take control of that, start planning for it today. One of the things I've noticed is not enough people are even utilizing their own employer's retirement 401k plan. That is the easiest way for you to start building that retirement fund. Money will just typically come out of your paycheck, so it's like you never even had it. And many times your employer might even contribute. So our office, we do contribute to our employees' 401k fund. So, if they're putting in money, we're going to match that up to a certain point. And so in essence, if you really think about it, yes, I have to put away, 3% of my paycheck or whatever, but my employer is also giving me 3%. So really you got, 3% of money for free. And it's really, really good down the road, because that is how you get that compound interest. It may not seem very much today, but 20, 30, 40 years from now, it's going to make a huge difference. And the sooner you start, the better you're going to be, the more cash you're going to have, because you're going to have more time with that money growing in this account. So I started very, very young. I started back when I was just starting out in undergrad. I had a small account. I didn't put a lot of money into it, but I had a little bit, just to kind of practice that habit and train myself to be able to do that. And so, take advantage of any retirement that is available to you. If you guys have kids, the average amount of dollars that is going to take for a 2-year-old, I'm using Caitlin as an example because she's 2. So by the time Caitlin is 18 and going through college, for me to be able to fund her through college, it's going to take about $500,000. That's a lot. College expenses are going to increase a lot between now and when she needs to go. And that's a lot of money to be putting out like that. So, of course, there's always scholarships, grants, and that type of thing, but you're not really taking ownership of that. And so for us, what we started doing is we set up a 529 plan for Caitlin, and there's different ways to do this. There's different types of accounts. There's ones in Washington. It's called the GET program. Basically, you are buying tokens for X amount of years of tuition, and you basically lock in that price. So, it doesn't matter what the in-state tuition cost will be when she needs it. We've already paid for it, and, it's going to count towards that full year of tuition. So, the inflation amount won't affect her, which is amazing, because I'm in essence paying today's prices for something in the future. Awesome. The other type of account you can get is more like a retirement type, where it's an investment account. So you can put money into the account for the student, and it'll grow. It'll gain interest and stuff like that over the years. So you're going to get a small amount of money today put in there, and then by the time she uses it, it's going to grow into a big portfolio, which will hopefully help get them through school. So there's many, many types of accounts out there, different types of retirement plans. Look at your individual kinds, and then also, of course, take advantage of your employers. Again, these things that I'm talking about today, these habits and this ability to budget, be smart with your money, it doesn't happen overnight. It's almost part of your core values. It's stuff that gain, and it's deeply ingrained. Like, I can't help it. I can't help but save. And so it's really important that not only as adults we practice this, but we need to act that. We need to be a role model. We got to teach these lessons to our little ones, because, this life skill, for them to be able to know, oh, if I only have $20, I only have $20. That's what I get. I don't get to buy that $40 toy. It is what it is. So to be able to develop these skills for them is going to be such a huge life skill, because nobody else is going to teach them. They're either going to learn it on their own, on the hard way, or it's up to us as parents to be able to instill that in them, because the school system just does not do it. We have, like I said, we learn a lot of really important things, but these life skills about, being smart with your money, it's just not there. And I am just so grateful that my parents, taught me this as a kid. Like I said, I am in a lot better shape than a lot of people, even though I have my own business, which means if my business is not making money, I don't get paid. I had 8 weeks. I had 2 months where my business was literally zero, and I was fortunate enough to be able to at least tap into some reserves to get me by. I was able to hunker down, get me by until we were able to slowly reopen. And even with the reopening, things are slower than it used to be. So, it's really, really important to have that safety net. You'll be very grateful for it when that day hits, because I can guarantee you this is not going to be the first time, this is not going to be the last time in your lifetime where we hit a recession or something happens in your life and you need to tap into some extra cash. So I hope you guys find this video useful. Please continue to follow my videos, and until then, continue to be safe, be kind to one another, and we'll see you next time. Bye.